Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. I hope everyone is doing well during these difficult times. Thank you all for joining this webinar, which is organized by Veracities and enabled by Ingram Micro. We have people from all over the globe today. We have people from Middle East, India, Africa, UAE, France, etc. I would like to introduce the speakers for today's session, Mr. Roscoe Lobo and Satyajit Garewal. Please note that you will be on mute during the session. We will be open for questions at the end of the session. You can paste your questions in the Q&A tab on your right-hand bottom corner, and it will be answered at the end. Roscoe, over to you.
Thanks, Neha. Hello, everyone. My name is Roscoe Lobo, and I'm a leader for data and AI with Veracities. And while we are here to take you through conversational AI and why it is the future of online interactions, what I'd like to begin with is spend a little time understanding how far we've come as humanity as a whole. So if I were to tell you that cave paintings or cave art are the best form of communication, we would all laugh about it. But that's precisely how humanity started in 40,000 BC. And it wasn't until 3000 BC that there was a revolutionary leap from those cave paintings to pigeon mail. Pigeons, because of their strong sense of home, were able to deliver messages as far as 2000 kilometers. In 8 BC, in ancient China, fire signaling was used to intimate people at different positions about an imminent war. An incoming attack over as far as 750 kilometers was able to be avoided by using this form of communication. And the revolution that we have seen in the past 30 years has been phenomenal. Starting from the 1980s, we've seen the computer coming into the picture, we've had internet, and in the past 30 years, the kind of evolution we've seen has brought us to where we are today, from computers to laptops to mobile devices. And especially since we are in a work from home era, we are constantly connected, we are constantly processing information, and we are also in a Twitter universe where there is a restriction on the number of characters you can use. So the information not only has to be accurate, it also has to be concise. Now that we know this is the evolution of communication, let's understand the preferences of today's customer. Let's take our own example. We are probably connected to this webinar on our laptop, whilst responding on WhatsApp to a few chats. And meanwhile, in the background, our kid is trying to view his latest online lecture using an iPad. Now that we know this about today's customer, how exactly are we servicing today's customer as organizations? Depending on the preference of communication, if the customer is preferring to use a mobile phone and the complexity of the query or the request of the customer is low, the preferred channel for communication is usually IVR or interactive voice response, where we have to go through multiple menus, press multiple buttons to ultimately direct our query to a customer service rep, who is usually the preferred mode for communication. If the customer is preferring to use a laptop or mobile phone, the complexity is high. Then we have a customer service rep who comes into the picture, who may not at all times have an instant answer or response to the query and may have to get back to the customer. What we are seeing today is a middle ground. Irrespective of the mode of communication and irrespective of complexity, there are traditional chatbots that are coming into the picture. And how exactly are they helping us, and how do they stack up against IVR and customer service reps? Customers of today are preferring more messaging than calling. 64% of them are expecting responses in real time. 80% of them, mind you, this is a very large number, leave the businesses, leave the organization whose service they are requesting after one poor experience. And there is a value to this. Approximately $62 billion is lost annually due to poor customer service. We know there is a challenge with the existing modes of communication. Let's see how they stack up exactly. To use a business school example of XY axis, let's take on the X axis query complexity or customer request complexity, and let's take on the Y axis the user experience. And let's see where IVR, customer service reps, and chatbots stack up. IVR is able to provide limited customer experience and limited query complexity. A customer service rep is probably useful when you have more query complexity and a little better customer experience than an IVR. Now, a traditional chatbot is able to provide a little better user experience because the responses are instant. However, traditional chatbots function as rule engines. If there is an answer, it will be able to provide it. If it is not trained to answer a question, it is not intelligent enough to handle that user's query. And that is why, for lower query complexities, a chatbot can be preferred. And that is where IBM's Watson comes into the picture. It is a true revolution. It provides the ultimate user experience irrespective of his query or request complexity. Now that we have this revolution, we do not need multiple channels for different modes of communication and different levels of complexity of the request. We can have one standard, uniform, powerful solution, and that is IBM Watson AI. There are multiple ways in Watson can help us. Use case number one, it can handle customer care queries. These may be simple to mildly complex queries where the customer, in the case of a banking enterprise, is trying to figure out what time the branch is open, what are the days on which the branch functions, how does he open a credit card account, for example, and what are the associated email IDs for certain type of grievances. Next, this is sort of a dual use case. Because Watson is able to ingest enriched and index information that's available irrespective of the multiple silos in the organization, it can enhance employee productivity by providing these answers in real time. It can also provide agent assistance where certain customer service reps are not able to answer queries immediately. They may not have the answers to them. They can reach out to Watson as with other employees to find information irrespective of where it resides in the organization. And lastly, Watson is not merely useful for only simple customer care. We can also have Watson for conversational commerce, where on my website, on my mobile app, I can help my customer on his purchase journey online by using Watson to have a conversation with him along the way. Watson Assistant is a true AI-powered foundation of smart customer experiences. So where normally either we reach out directly to a customer service rep, which is very rarely the case, or we dial through an IVR and ultimately want to talk to a customer service rep anyway, thus increasing costs because I need an IVR solution, plus I need a customer service rep in place at a call center. Watson changes the narrative. Irrespective of a customer or employee making an information request, irrespective of the channel, he could be reaching out through a landline, through a mobile phone, through a computer, and so on. That request is processed by Watson in a smart and timely manner. Watson uses its skills of having natural language dialogue to give it explicit answers. It also uses the power to search and query information within the organization. And lastly, it can also carry out live handoff to an agent within the organization. The previous use cases that we see fall within this channel of communication. I can help my customer. I can help my employee with his productivity. I can help my customer with conversational commerce. And lastly, I can also help my agent. Now, this powerful combination is a combination of multiple offerings. Let's understand Watson a little better. Part A is Watson Assistant that has a beautiful set of functionalities. It is easy to scale. I can start small and support as many as 100,000 calls a day from multiple customers. It has pre-built content, so it understands industry-specific jargon, and all you need to train Watson to understand is business-specific jargon specific to your organization. It is conversational in nature, so it can guide a customer in the form of self-service to enable him to solve his queries. It uses natural language, so it gives a personal touch. It is omni-channel, so I can integrate it with my website. I can integrate it with my mobile app. I can use it with social media websites. I can use it with Facebook. I can use it with WhatsApp. I can also use it with my service help desks, such as Zendesk, Jira, so on and so forth. We also have the aspect of machine learning where Watson intelligently culls out information over multiple conversations to have better conversations with customers in the future. So it only gets better over a period of time. And at the point where Watson is not trained to answer a particular question comes the beauty of Watson Discovery. Here, we can import, ingest, enrich, and query that information. We can ingest information, whether it is structured or unstructured. We can enrich information in multiple ways. It can understand emotions. It can understand context, sentiment. It can understand key entities as part of the statements that customers are making. It can classify and provide you a detailed taxonomy of the concepts that are being discussed. It also can carry out smart document understanding, where documents in multiple formats such as Word, PDF, JSON, etc., can be merely lifted and shifted into Watson Discovery. And Watson Assistant can flexibly reach out to Watson Discovery to make sense of that structured or unstructured information, amongst many other features. Finally, this information can be queried. So you not only are ingesting or storing that information in a single repository, you are enriching that information, giving it better meaning, better context, carrying out sentiment analysis. And lastly, you can query that information. So now that that information is indexed, you can also find out where that information is. And why is this important? 80% of customers today consider their experience with a company to be as important as its products. And this is a true revolution. The fourth industrial revolution has clearly indicated that customer service is a very important aspect and cannot be neglected by any organization. This was a research by Salesforce in the previous year. And not just that, what also comes out as a result of the research is 25% customers would pay more for better service. So it's not only a key responsibility for organizations to avoid churn of customers, but also keep them because they are able to pay more or are willing to pay for more for better service. And Watson helps you fulfill the requests of these customers much, much faster than the competition out there. Irrespective of the number of samples you use for training Watson, it can be as few as 10 to as far as 1,000. Watson is a leader from end to end. Let's see how organizations are dealing with this. 84% of employees in US and UK, senior level executives, as part of a survey, responded that they believe that their organization can take advantage of AI and can really benefit. However, only 56% of them are against it. They say that their organization is not able to take advantage. So 44% of them think that the organization can take advantage. And at the same time, Watson is continuing to produce miracles in the businesses that are actually going ahead and implementing it. Let's take a look at a few success stories. We have use cases in BFSI, in government, software, IT enterprise services, and healthcare. Allianz is able to resolve 80% of the normal queries that would automatically go to a customer service rep, thus ensuring that the agents now have 5 times the amount of time that they had previously to solve the complicated queries, and drastically reducing the cost. Smart Dubai, as an initiative, had a Watson-based assistant called as Rashid, who would help businesses set up as small as a coffee shop to as far as a law firm. Autodesk was able to reduce the resolution time for the tickets coming in by 99%. VMware was able to use Watson to smartly categorize and segregate the queries that were coming in and send it to the right customer service team or customer service department. Now, this is a beautiful one. This is very special. Versus Arthritis is a non-government organization. It's a not-for-profit. It's in the space of healthcare, but obviously promoting and educating people about arthritis. They were also able to recently use the COVID bot by Watson to educate their customers or educate their consumers or their patients who have arthritis and who might be at a greater risk due to the coronavirus as to what steps they need to take. Lastly, ICMR, our very own ICMR, the Indian Council for Medical Research, has also recently adopted Watson, and this is somewhat what it looks like. They are now able to get faster answers to their employees, faster responses to the customers or to patients in general who are looking to get information on this sensitive issue. Let's take a few specific examples. So in the case of RBS, one of the leading multinational banks, their challenge was mortgage is a very complicated issue. It is a very personal issue as well, mind you. Buying a home is an important dream for most of us individuals. Now, buying a home or taking a mortgage from RBS was a very complicated process because it involved evolving products, processes, regulations. It was difficult for the loan officers, the mortgage officers, to keep track of that information. And therefore, there was low NPS or Net Promoter Score, there was low customer confidence, and also there was an onus of improving customer satisfaction while reducing the associated costs. The requirement was to find an efficient way to handle and assist employees and customers for mortgages. And the benefits of implementing Watson for RBS are a 20% improvement in customer image of their brand, 10% decrease in call durations, 85% of the queries are now handled by Cora, which is the name that they have given to Watson Assistant. And that is the beauty of the personalization aspect of Watson. And now Watson has been trained for 1,000 responses to around 200 customer queries. Next, let's take the example of Bradesco. It's one of the largest and fastest growing banks in Brazil. It has assets of around $5 billion. And to put things to perspective, that is much more than the assets of the three largest private banks in India. Geographically, it was very distributed, approximately 65 million customers, 5,200 branches, and because they operated on a hub and spoke model, which means all of the information was processed by a central branch or a central head office, all the other branches had to spend long waiting times whenever the customer at the branch had a query and they had to make a call at the central office for the associated information. And mind you, Bradesco even has a branch which is on a boat in the river Amazon. And that is how complicated it made things for them. So the requirement was to increase the speed of service and improve the level of personalization for each client. The benefits are that Watson was trained on 62 products. It is now able to process 280,000 questions approximately a month at 95% accuracy. And the response time, which earlier took 10 minutes, involved a lot of waiting time, a lot of frustration on behalf of the agents who are calling the central office. It's now reduced to a few seconds. And that's not all the customers have to say or the benefits that the customers have. Industry recognition also exists for Watson in its multiple forms. So you have different products or different offerings associated with Watson, and irrespective of what it is, be it Watson Studio in predictive analytics and machine learning space, or Watson Knowledge Catalog in the machine learning data cataloging space, or Cloud Pak for data in enterprise insights, Watson Assistant as a conversational computing platform, and Watson Discovery as an AI text analysis platform, IBM is a leader all the way. So apart from what our customers have to say about us, apart from industry recognition, I now invite you to a demo by our Watson SME, Satyajit Garewal. A little bit about what Satyajit is going to present in his demo. It's going to be divided into three aspects. Portion 1 is going to be based on Watson Assistant and a few of its associated features. Aspect 2 is Watson Discovery and a few of its features. And lastly, how simple and how easy it is for an end consumer himself to set up Watson and enable it to the entire organization. With that, I hand things over to you, Satyajit.
Thanks for Satyajit. Thanks also for such a wonderful explanation. I guess you are very well explained.
Sorry for the technical glitch, guys. Just give us a moment.
So while we work our way to get Satyajit back and connected, I will just speak a little more on what he's going to walk you through anyway. So Watson is beautiful because it enables your customer to have a seamless conversation omni-channel. It could be on your website, it could be using either WhatsApp or Facebook, or it could be using your service desks. So there are multiple features. Watson is intelligent enough to handle digression, which means there could be a situation where a customer starts his conversation with concept A and he goes off to concept B. But Watson is intelligent enough to come back, circle back to concept A and close that conversation. Watson is intelligent enough to carry out disambiguation as well, which means there might be certain times when you are not clear in communicating to Watson what is the help you seek. Watson is able to probe question, and clarify, and ultimately give you an accurate solution. You also have speech to text, so you need not only type out information or text your conversation with Watson, you can also speak to Watson, and Watson is able to understand that in multiple languages as well. Mind you, it also understands the tone of the conversation. So there might be instances where a customer is off the handle. He might want a sensitive, a more personal touch, and Watson is able to analyze that emotion, that sentiment, and can transfer that to a live agent. Lastly, like I said earlier, it is also omni-channel. So you can not only have it on your website, you can have it integrated with your service desks. You can also have it integrated with your social media channels. Watson Discovery is an intelligent cognitive search engine. Like I said before, it helps you ingest, enrich, and ultimately query that information. So irrespective of where that structured or unstructured information resides in your organization, you can carry it, lift it, shift it into Watson Discovery and have it integrated with Watson Assistant so that Watson can not only answer the questions it is trained to answer, but also make sense of that data goldmine that you have sitting in your organization. That cognitive search is enabled for smart document understanding feature as well, because irrespective of where the documents reside, you can place the documents into Watson Discovery and have the cognitive search feature to make sense of it. Lastly, what Satyajit is going to walk you through is the configuration aspect. So how do you set up Watson Assistant in few simple steps? How do you process a dialogue? What are the analytics that are possible in it? And lastly, something about content catalog, which is something I will talk about later in this conversation. And I believe we have Satyajit back. Satyajit, can you confirm for me that you're back?
Yes, Roscoe. I think there was some internet issues. I
Perfect.
believe.
Glad to have you back. Over to you, buddy.
Yeah. So please, can you confirm that you can see my screen so that I can continue?
We're able to see your screen. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. So sorry for the interruption, guys. Thanks, Roscoe, once again for such a wonderful explanation. So moving forward, I'll directly start with my demonstration, wherein first part I'll be acting as an user who is new to banking and would like to consume the services offered by it. So for instance, if I consider myself to be any customer who has securely logged in into the bank's web portal and trying to consume the offers, the services which are offered by it. So for instance, now in this 4G's era, it's a very tedious task for me to navigate through the bunch of the web pages and try to avail the services. Here at the screen's bottom right corner, I see a Lifesaver logo who is eagerly waiting to help me out. So as soon as I click on it, on the chat's home screen, I can see there are n number of options and it has pulled all the information required to initiate the conversation. This is my Watson Assistant's chat home screen. So I can also see it has prompting with some options which are basically banking services for which it has it can help. So for instance, it can help me with make a credit card payment, book an appointment with banker, or choose a credit card. So if for instance, very naturally, if I type I want to pay bill, credit card, agent has intelligently detected that I am trying to make a payment via credit card and has taken me to appropriate dialog flow. Carrying on, if I continue to interact, for example, my card number is 5624 and I want to pay today. So after looking at this balance of $430, I came to know that my wife shops a lot with this card and I need to change my PIN immediately before I pay anything else with this card. So very naturally, again, in between the current conversation, I just type change my PIN. Now, the agent on its own has identified that I have digressed from the current flow and thereby started responding accordingly. Now, I can change my PIN over here. For example, I want to change for 5624. My current valid pin is 2024. My new pin should be 1996. So it has sent me a passcode. I'll just enter an OTP and done. So after I complete the change pin process, I can see that it has moved back to the previous conversation seamlessly, and thereby I can carry on with my credit card payment. So for instance, I want to pay $100 bill. Yes. And it's done. So this is an inbuilt capability of Watson Assistant, which is known as digression, wherein I can switch my task and still get the same user experience as if I am talking to a real human agent. Carrying on, what if I want to input some unsure queries, or even if I'm unsure and type incomplete sentences into it. For example, I just type pay. In this case, agent, without taking any action on its own, tries to clarify his understanding and expects me to further elaborate my queries, which keeps the customer service intact. So even if I type incomplete question to the agent, my agent would be intelligent enough to recognize it and help me out. This is the feature which is known as disambiguation, wherein even if people are not sure about what they intend to ask, or are facing difficulty to phrase the sentences, the AI beneath the agent would be still providing the customers the experience and helping customers to solve their queries. Moving further, as we all know, we are well equipped to use AI platforms and the technical devices. We like to use the AI platform very naturally. In such cases, we like only to speak what we feel rather than typing in all the tiny and minute details into the agent. So for any instance, if I say, I want to meet a banker, the agent has an inbuilt capability to recognize the voices and still respond to the queries, keeping the same seamless customer experience. The speech-to-text capability of the agent has been a great help. Similarly, the fact which cannot be denied is the banking services are consumed in all the parts of the geography. And it's a very unrealistic expectation that everyone can query in English or just in one language. So what if I query in Hindi, considering it to be my regional language? So I'll just query in Hindi now. For instance, I want to meet a banker. Same over here. I can see that it has recognized the language of the input and has started responding me accordingly. So looking at the guest audience, what if I try the same thing in Arabic? So and just try in Arabic. As we saw, the moment I change the language of my input, the machine learning behind the scenes identifies the language and the agent starts responding me in the same language. Considering we all like to type very naturally and we continuously chat with our friends on social media, we usually don't change the keyboard, rather type naturally in English. So for example, what if I type Hindi using an English keyboard, like मैं बैंकर से चाहता हूँ. Still, if we type in English, it has captured the language of the input and still is responding me. Wow, the deep learning technologies beneath are showing the results. An agent was still able to capture the language and has kept the experience intact. For adding the information, agent now supports more than 100 languages, which consist both regional and globally spoken ones. Now, after we have seen the intelligence of the agent, What if I try to outsmart it by asking irrelevant questions? For example, what if I ask him, I want to go to. Considering it to be a banking bot, my agent is intelligent enough to identify its perimeters and has very smartly tried to keep my questions stuck to the banking. So we can see that it is not even intelligent to answer the questions, but also has the capability to identify the questions which it needs to address. Moving further, what if I want some personal human touch, or in any case I get angry and say, I am mad at you, you don't understand. Now, the sentiments and the tone analyzer capability of the agent activates. And the moment it recognizes the anger threshold has surpassed a particular value, the agent understands it's no longer been helpful to the user. But it's still helpful as it can directly redirect me to the customer specialist. So just by typing yes, a specialist would be here to assist me very shortly. Moving on, what if I ask questions which my agent is not pre-configured to answer, or they are not served as an banking service by the agent, which can be typically an FAQ based questions or any banking inquiry based questions. So for instance, if I type ask general questions, and very naturally if I say I want to settle car loan in Dubai. Wow. The agent being equipped with the cognitive search capability can search the web, the databases, and the unstructured documents to help me find the relevant information. As you can see, I very naturally type I want to settle a car loan. It has found some documents relating to that FAQ and has answered me very well. Again, for example, if I want to ask some more and just say, how does Islamic banks operate? With smart document understanding and natural language processing, Watson Discovery can get really powerful when it gets integrated to Watson Assistant. So here we can see that I have just typed very naturally some questions and it was still able to answer me even if it has not trained to answer me on it. The same service can be availed by the employees where they can put their queries into the agent, and rather than searching the whole database systems manually, Watson Discovery can save their millions word time. Moving on, now that we have seen it's a very helpful medium for both the users and employee to avail the services, the very true fact that which still resides is more than 60% of the traffic on the internet is via smartphones or the other IoT devices. Hence, for that matter, it's a very tedious task for the user to navigate to the web portal via phones and make use of the assistant. And that's where the Watson Assistant surpasses the bars. So with a very few configurations, for example, if I type, I want to bank on WhatsApp. I want to bank on WhatsApp. It is asking me now my 10-digit mobile number so that it can register me on WhatsApp. So for instance, if I input my number, it's just prompting me with a message that I have to save this number, and if I message hi to this, he'll be there to assist me. So let's try it out. I'm pulling out my WhatsApp screen wherein you can see that I have saved this mobile number as a banking assistant. And what if I message it on WhatsApp? For example, hi. We can see that immediately the whole agent was pulled over onto the WhatsApp and is giving me the same user experience. Moving on, what if I query the bot in my natural language? And that's where Watson Assistant again surpasses the bars. The agent gets the same experience regardless on the platform it being used. Similarly, the agent can be used on Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, and all the easily available social media channels, so that the navigation constraint is never been a hurdle to consume the services given by the agent. Moving forward, on the last part of the demonstration, looking at the time, I'll be quickly showing you how Watson Assistant follows a zero coding USP and how easy it is to configure the Watson Assistant and how easy it is to develop a skill in Watson Assistant. So for instance, if I take this skill, now we can see on the left side of the screen there are some components which are prompting out, which are intents, entities, dialogues, options, etc. So talking about intents are nothing but the tasks which you want your assistant to perform, whereas it can get trained on very few examples. So for example, I take this intent like account access authorized user with a very few example, as Roscoe explained that with a very few learning examples, the learning curve of the Watson is really high. So I've just trained it on the 9 examples, and rest all the further portions is taken care by Watson. Further moving, talking about the entities just take part when we have some complex dialogues processing. They help us to collect the relevant information while processing the dialogues. So for instance, I can collect my account number, or I can take a credit card level, or I can collect the PAN numbers, etc., etc. So these are basically useful to initiate the conversation and remember the conversation dialogues. So entities are basically divided into two major portions, which are user-defined entities and system entities, wherein in system entities, they have by default options like to identify the numbers, currencies, dates, etc. Talking about dialogues are just the messages which you want assistant to respond with when an intent gets queried. So for instance, as we saw, WhatsApp banking, as soon as the assistant recognizes the intent is WhatsApp banking, it prompts me with a message and collects the mobile number so that it can register me onto the WhatsApp. So similarly, we can set all the dialogues and set all the intents very easily into this portal without writing a single line of a code. Moving on, we have options, which has webhooks, which basically if we want to do a heavy lifting or process any business logic, we can always send the conversation elements to a cloud function and it can do the rest part. Similarly, we have disambiguation, we have autocorrection and the irrelevance detection. So autocorrection and the irrelevance detection helps me to enhance the user experience. Then we have analytics, which is basically a most important part from the business standpoint, wherein I get the basic insights and analysis about how my agent is behaving on site. So for example, we can see that Watson has been answering 163 conversations till now. It had 10 weak understandings, which with which I can see the logs and improve it right away. Then we can see some graphs which has average message, what are the average message, total messages, what are the active users currently, how much conversations is average per user. And the best part of it is the top entities and top intents, wherein I can see what are the top intents or the tasks which users is asking Watson Assistant to perform. And by just looking at this, we can configure it more easily, or we can enhance those tasks for making the customer experience better. So last but not the least is we are having a bunch of catalog wherein I can see all the skills with respect to industry's jargon. And just by adding a skill, a specific skill, which is an industry specific, of course. For example, if I add customer care skill to my bot, it will get trained to a specific industry, that is customer care. With this, I end my demonstration. Thank you guys for watching this demo, and over to you, Roscoe.
Thanks, Satyajit, for that wonderful demonstration. And to quickly recap what we've seen, we saw multiple features of Watson Assistant. So Satyajit started with a conversation where he would like to pay his credit card bill, but he digressed from that. He tried to change his PIN. He came back and was able to complete the conversation. Disambiguation, Watson was able to understand the intent of what Satyajit was trying to converse. Speech to text, not only for a regional language like Hindi, but also Arabic. Language translation as well was done over there. Ultimately, when tried to agitate it, tone analyzer was used, and ultimately a live agent handoff was conducted. Satyajit was also able to flexibly move the conversation over to WhatsApp using the omni-channel facility of Watson Assistant. Cognitive search and smart document understanding, we've also seen how that can be leveraged and becomes a very powerful combination when used in conjunction with Watson Assistant. Lastly, it's very simple to configure Watson Assistant. Dialogue processing is nothing but a simple tree of conversation with certain sequencing to be kept in mind to ensure the customer conversation is seamless. There are certain analytics that let us know what are the kind of messages the customers are sending in, what is the frequency, what is the load. And because, and this is the beauty of Watson, is available hosted as a microservice, the scalability of this on cloud is phenomenal. Lastly, content catalog, where you can see that industry specific jargon need not be worried about. You need not worry about industry specific jargon. All you need to train Watson to understand is business specific jargon. And that brings me to the end of the recap of the demo, and we move over to the Q&A section where Sneha, you can let us know what we have in store.
Thank you, Roscoe. Thank you, Satyajit. That was a wonderful session. And I am sure a lot of people attending the session would agree to that. Well, we have first question from the audience that says, if anyone changes their confidential information like PIN, other details to the Watson chatbot, is there any mechanism to maintain that authenticity, confidentiality for these data or information?
Sure. Satyajit, would you like to take this one up?
Okay. Yeah. So as we saw, the process is not that easy. So as soon as anyone who changed the PIN, the point to be remembered or to note is the Watson Assistant lies beneath the firewall of the banks. So as it's same process as you change your PIN or you do any transaction via the website, the same APIs and the same mechanism or the same technology gets triggered beneath. So even if you do anything with Watson Assistant, the authenticity is maintained. And I hope this answers the question.
Well, it very well answers the question that we do not have to worry about the authenticity from when it comes to changing the PIN and sharing the details. We have second question that says, will Watson Assistant work for me out of the box? I'm assuming the out of the box means that it stands out for me. Yeah.
So I will take this question up, Satyajit. So Sneha,
Okay.
to answer that question, Watson to a very large extent works out of the box. we spoke about the content catalog as demonstrated by Satyajit, and the learning curve, the machine learning capability of Watson is phenomenal. It's a true cognitive engine. But needless to say, there are certain specifics of your business that you would have to train Watson to understand. And it is only up to the extent of customization that there is a little effort involved beyond the out-of-the-box functionality that Watson comes with.
Okay. Thank you, Roscoe. Can we use this for healthcare industry or any other industry in specific? So as you showed the demonstration for banking industry today, so this can be used for other industries, right?
Sure. So I will take this up, Satyajit. Uh, Healthcare, definitely yes. Like we saw the example of the NGO, and also as mentioned that we have the Indian Council for Medical Research, which is one of the largest and oldest biomedical research organization and the front runner in India when it comes to disseminating information pertaining to the coronavirus. So yes, healthcare is also a wonderful example and a wonderful industry that can take advantage of Watson. And Watson really is industry agnostic. It serves multiple use cases that are not specific to any industry. So it can take care of customers irrespective of insurance, irrespective, it could be banking, it could be healthcare, it could be manufacturing, so on and so forth. You could help your employees, you could help your agents, again, irrespective of industry. And lastly, you can have conversational commerce. So this is more from an e-commerce standpoint. So where you're selling online, you could have Watson assist your customers along that journey by having a natural language conversation in a language of their preference.
Okay. Thank you, Roscoe. As Satyajit said that you can train the Watson assistant according to your industry, and you can feed it with your industry jargons. So my another question right now is how quickly can you train the Watson with your specific industry jargons?
Sure.
Okay,
Satyajit,
so
would you like to take
Rocco,
this one?
yeah, I'll take this question. So to be
Sure.
specific, as we saw in that content catalog, it was very easy and just a click away to, as soon as we click on the add to skill, the whole skill gets ingested by the Watson, and within a day, we can create a basic communicational channel or the agent to the industry specific jargon. So as soon as you click on add to skill, it gets trained very quickly. By my personal experience, I have seen it training within minutes.
Wow, that's really nice. Within minutes is a really good thing. Okay, our next question is, will automating customer support lead to eliminating customer care agent positions?
So, Sneha, I will take this one up. I think that's a fair enough question, but we really have to see the specifics of the industry and what is the cost that is being incurred presently. So we have multiple modes of communication with the customer. We have IVR, which is interactive voice response, and most of us do not have the patience today to deal with a multitude of questions and resulting buttons to be pressed to get us to ultimately the customer service rep. So although we have IVR in place, we are ultimately wanting to talk to an agent because the complicated questions are going to be answered only by him. And if you look at the customer service costs associated with having a call center rep, it's roughly $6 to $10 for a country like India. So it's a very expensive proposition anyway. So organizations worried about layoffs, I would say it's a fair concern because Watson, to a very large extent, takes care of the questions, the basic questions, the routine questions that come in. And in one of the examples, we even saw today that 80% of the queries are now being handled by Watson, leaving only 20% of the queries. So thus, consequently, leaving much more time for the existing number of agents, or rather 5 times the amount of time they had previously for dedicatedly solving the complicated questions. So customers who have a concern of layoffs could either use a mix of Watson along with, as a complementary solution to IVR or maybe customer service reps, or definitely given the ROI, they can go for a full-fledged implementation of Watson only.
Okay, thank you, Roscoe. As you mentioned IVR, it brings up another question to me. Is IVR sufficient for the client base, or does one has to have a video channel with it?
Sorry, Sneha, can you come again?
So is IVR sufficient for my client base? Do I need to add a voice channel to it?
Fair enough. So I will take this question up, Satyajit and Sneha. So IVR today, like I said previously, is becoming very outdated. It gives customers a
Mm-hmm.
feeling of the business not adapting to the change in times. And we live in a Twitterverse where we need to communicate information as accurately, as concisely as possible. And studies show that we as human beings are also becoming very low on patience. And for simple tasks such as getting answer to customer queries, customers do not have patience for more than 15 to 20 seconds. And if they are routed through an IVR, it is my opinion that is not the best customer experience, especially considering 80% of them would consider moving to a competitor on only one poor experience. So the risks associated with IVR are very, very high, and you cannot have only a customer service rep answering all the questions because it becomes a very complicated and very costly affair.
Okay, well, fair point. Um, Next question, I suppose, is for Satyajit. How many languages are supported by Watson?
Okay,
So how
so
many? Yeah.
Watson, to be very specific, Watson Assistant by default supports all the majorly spoken languages, which are of course global. But the upper hand which Watson Assistant has, which is the capability to integrate it with external APIs. So you can integrate it with n number of APIs and support n number of languages. So even if by default it supports majorly spoken languages, you can integrate it with the APIs and keep the languages adding.
Okay. Okay. Uh, the next question right now we have is, can we keep our customer support data on premises?
Fair enough. So, Satyajit, Sneha, I will take up that question. Absolutely, yes. The flexibility that comes with choosing IBM Watson is that you can not only deploy it on cloud as an on-demand microservice that is completely scalable, but you can also deploy it on premises using the Cloud Pak for Data offering that IBM has. So ultimately, to the point, the data will remain on premise. Your customer specific confidential data continues to remain behind your firewall.
Okay. Okay. We have another question from attendees. That is, what kind of product, industry, company specific, employee, customer data, content, and voice repository is needed to build the AI responses? How long before the actual deployment should this be installed to rep the benefits of the AI voice and chatbot AI responses? So let me break the
Okay,
questions for you if you want. There are
sure,
multiple
sure,
questions in this question. Yeah.
sure.
So what kind of product, industry, company specific, employee, customer data, content, and voice repository is needed to build the AI responses?
Fair enough. So I'll take this up. So there's nothing very, very specific that you need to begin with because the industry specific jargon is already available in Watson. And like explained wonderfully by Satyajit, you have three concepts that are associated with building a voice agent or a virtual assistant in Watson. So the conversational AI works on the concept of intents, entities, and ultimately your dialogue. So all the information, I think it helps if you have a strong marketing team or a strong customer success team because Watson can really be personalized to reflect the brand image you want your frontline officer to have. Because Watson, in the example of RBS, is given the personality of Cora, and Cora is handling all of the queries there now. So the specifics depend on what kind of a personality do you want to give Watson, what kind of a conversation do you want Watson to have, and ultimately what kind of interaction is Watson going to have? Is it going to be for employee assistance? Is it going to be for basic customer care, or is it going to be for conversational commerce? So there's a lot more aspects that go into determining what kind of information is required. From a repository standpoint, Watson is flexible to integrate with multiple, but Watson Discovery really takes Watson Assistant's capabilities to the next level. So you can merely drag and drop your structured, unstructured information. You could either use the predefined formats that are available. So you have Word, you have PDF, you have JSON, and there's multiple ways of really integrating that information.
Okay. So the second part of the question is how long before the actual deployment should this be installed to reap the benefits of AI voice and chatbot AI responses? So in continuation to what was asked, how
Sure.
long
So
before do that? Yeah.
fair enough. So I'll take this up. I believe to get an understanding of the ROI, we need to understand the customer metrics at present. So what is the cost per call? What is the first time call resolution rate? What is the kind of disconnect? So the usual metric is 5% to 10% calls are usually disconnected because the customer has been waiting for too long. 14 minutes is the average waiting time worldwide. And what is the customer churn? So really, to build an ROI, this seems like a very specific question. It would help if we could understand and have a one-on-one conversation of what are the specifics of your industry, what are you wanting Watson to do, what are the available data sources that you would like Watson to leverage. So, for example, I may have 10 different types of data in 10 different data silos, 10 different data repositories. But if the only one that matters to me is the sales information in Salesforce or administrative information on a SQL server, then these are the only two databases with which I need to interface. In which case, I do not need to spend too much of time integrating information. So it's a very specific question, depends on customer to customer. But I think an ideal time for an implementation as such could be anywhere between 3 to 5 months.
Okay. 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 Thank you, Roscoe. We have another question from the attendees, from Mr. Ajin. What are the chances Watson giving wrong responses? So I'm going to break the question. Okay. So what are the chances Watson giving wrong responses? IVR is rule based. So there is 100% surety that the response in right, even though the content is less. So he means to say when you code it using IVR, the responses are going to be sure, right? 100% sure.
Sure. So, Satyajit, do you want to take that question up,
Yeah.
or would you rather have me answer?
Yes. So I can take this up. So Watson, to be specific, can, yes, because we are telling and we are claiming that it's a replica of a human brain. So even human brain is not complete or not perfect. So there may be chances where Watson would not be able to answer the questions which users are trying to ask. But the best part about it is as soon as it realizes that, as we have seen in demonstration too, that as soon as it realizes that it's not being able to answer, it transfers it to a specialist. So in any case, the query is going to get resolved. And as we saw in that analytical portion, wherein I can get the weak understanding logs of Watson, with the continuous deployment and integration strategy, I can train Watson every day to be better and better for specific industries.
Okay.
Sure. And just to add to Satyajit's points, Neha, my opinion is that in the example we took for Bradesco, which is one of the largest banks in Brazil, Watson is capable of answering questions with a 95% accuracy. So that does leave a 5% scope for improvement with Watson as well. With IVR, the multiple challenges, apart from being outdated and reflecting very poorly on your customer, who is modern and who could probably be a millennial or someone from Gen Z, uh, if I enter an incorrect input, most of the times customers today, from the conversations we've had with organizations, are looking to directly speak to a customer service rep. So it might take many option one, many option two, many option three, up to 5, 10 levels to ultimately anyway lead to a customer service rep. And it's very mechanical. It's very orthodox, and it's not capable of handling the complicated questions. Whereas with Watson, you have that additional advantage, irrespective of information where Watson is not trained to answer questions. It could be dipping into the Watson Discovery repository that's connected with all the documentation or all the data inside your organization, and it's able to pick answers from them as well. But again, there is always a scope for improvement, and thanks to Watson having a machine learning capability, it learns and gets better over the passage of time.
Okay. So I'll take 95% of accuracy as an answer, right?
Fair enough. And it keeps getting better over a period of time. And it depends really from customer to customer. So these are including complicated questions. The example that we took with 95% accuracy had roughly 1,000 responses for over 200 questions. And the volume being done was 283,000 questions a month. So really, like, the
Okay.
benefit is unbelievable.
Okay. So we have one more question from the attendee. Um, does Watson complement or replace RPA in any way? So robotic process automation, I guess they mean.
Sure. Satyajit, do you want to take this one up?
Yes, I can take this. So, talking about robotic process automation, it's nothing but when we try to automate any system or a software. So, virtual agent directly doesn't help, or it's not directly integrated. It cannot directly be integrated with the automation anywhere or any type of a systems directly. But because we have an API endpoints, we can may always integrate it with an API available solutions, and we can always complement it via the RPA. So as we have developed employee self-service portal, which is a kind of a RPA system wherein the employees, Watson is helping our employees to fill their timesheet or to fill their expense sheet, and somewhere it's processing all the software parts autonomously. So, to be very specific to this answer, there is no direct as such integration point with as a Watson Assistant or the Automation Anywhere softwares, but because of APIs and programming in between, we can do integrate it and fill the bridge the gap between it.
Okay. So it can be complementary, and so there's no scope of replacement, of course, but it can complement sometimes, right? So it did
Yeah, yeah,
complement in your demo.
correct.
Okay. 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 So I guess that's for Roscoe or Satyajit. How long does it take for implementation? So if someone wants to implement Watson Assistant for themselves, so how long will it take?
Sure. So I think, Sneha, I'll take this one up, and it came up in one of the points I mentioned previously as well. An ideal
Okay.
implementation would take 3 to 5 months, depending on the complexity of the implementation. So maybe 2 to 5 months, I would say, depending on how specific does the customer want to get, what is the kind of volume they want to train Watson for, what kind of languages does it want it to support, what kind of intents and entities that it does it want to enable Watson with. So it depends on a lot of specifics, but a ballpark, a considerable range would be somewhere between 2 to 5 months, depending also upon the integration with the existing databases within the organization.
So is Roscoe, is this a very expensive solution?
Okay, so I would say not at all. Just to draw up a frame of reference, I mentioned earlier, $6 to $10 is what it costs per hour for an Indian call center. And if you do the math, it comes up to roughly $1 per call. And with Watson, it's really 5,000 to 10,000 times cheaper in what we've seen in the sizing we've done for customers. So if you're able to take 80% of your existing load at 5,000 times less the cost, the savings is really mind blowing.
Okay. So we have one more from the attendees, that can we set up intents and entities or dialogues ourselves?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I
so
think, yeah, Satyajit, go
yeah,
ahead, please.
I'll take this question. So, as I mentioned in my demonstration that Watson Assistant follows a zero coding USP. So, as we even saw that how it was easy to just configure the intents, entities, and dialogues, I don't think that one needs a programmer to develop Watson Assistant solution. Only part where some coding is required is while integrating it to the databases or different things. But Rather, for developing dialogues and entities and developing a basic conversational agent, I don't think any prior programming experience is needed. Anyone can do that.
Okay, okay. So that was a wonderful question and answer round with and wonderful interaction that we had with our attendees. This brings us to the end of our Q&A round. Roscoe and Satyajit, do you have something to add or any tip for our attendees?
Nothing at all. Thanks everyone for being a wonderful audience. Thank you, Sneha, for hosting us.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you. Thank you
Sneha.
so much,
Thanks,
everyone,
Roscoe.
for attending.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.